Well, good morning, everybody. My name is Tanner Caldwell here at Spokane Talks Media, and today we have Rick Clark. Now, Rick Clark, tell me what you do exactly, because you do a few different things.
Yeah, so I'm the founder and executive director of a local nonprofit called Giving Backpacks.
Okay.
That was created in 2015, kind of as an outreach program. When I met a homeless man, it changed my life. Long story, but in 2018 we became an official nonprofit while I was going to school at Gonzaga. And then during the pandemic, when we weren't able to go out and give out the backpacks that we were doing, we all had to stay home. We started Spokane Quarantine, which is, so it's the same thing. They're both the same. It's just, it's a little confusing because there's two names, but Spokane Quarantine really blew up.
And it's not quarantine, it's quarantine.
Quarantine as in we're all in one team together.
I thought that was clever.
Yeah, and it was just a really great way to get through a really dark time together. And I mean, that page exploded to like 40,000 followers almost overnight, it seemed like.
Yeah. Yeah, and man, I was just doing a little bit of reading about the kind of stuff that you do. And so now you have Giving Backpacks, which you stuff backpacks with stuff that people need and then give them to homeless people.
Right.
And then what does Quarantine do?
So we started out, it's kind of crazy, the timing of everything. We had given out 7,000 backpacks by the time the pandemic came to Spokane, right? So dang. We were kind of at a crossroads where we're like, okay, everybody we go talk to on the streets already has one or two backpacks. So it's kind of hard to just keep giving backpacks, right? So we were trying to focus on more like resources. So if you're struggling with drug and alcohol addiction, maybe you're struggling with the domestic violence issues, whatever the main reason is for you to be homeless, we wanted to start capturing that as a resource and getting those resources out to folks. And so the pandemic came and we weren't able to do anything. And so I got online and I started running these really awkward 15-minute videos every night on Facebook, trying to raise money to help the restaurants. Because if you remember, restaurants were like losing money crazy because nobody could go in, right?
Right, and a lot of small businesses were especially struggling because they didn't have the outside help of
and it was a scary time for people that are normally the strong ones in our community. Now they're in the position where they've got their back against the wall and they didn't know how to do it. And so we literally would raise thousands of dollars every night and we would go give it to a different restaurant the next day, force them to take the money because they'd always try to give us deals. They'd always try to cut us a deal. And we were like, no, we're going to, even if we have to tip you, we're going to end up leaving here by giving you this much money.
Right.
And then we want you to cook that food that you love to cook. And we're going to take that food and have it delivered to homeless shelters during a pandemic. It's a win-win-win. Like everybody gets to help out and be safe. And so over 112 videos, we raised $250,000. So $250,000 during the darkest time in our lives. And then once the pandemic was better and people started to go out into the community, I thought I was going to get back to life as it was, you know, but the community had other plans and they said, no, Rick, this thing is a movement now and we need to maybe focus on not restaurants because they don't need the help. Let's focus on families that are struggling. Let's focus on people that need help. And so we've done incredible things that I literally can't believe we pulled off.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
How has that changed from going from a very quarantine focused organization who like focuses on making sure that small businesses are okay to now? Like what has the progression been like from then? Where has the community kind of pushed you?
Well, just to give you an idea of how powerful social media is, you know, social media gets a lot of guff for a lot of decent reasons.
Yeah.
But a couple months ago, the Spokane Childhood Cancer Association reached out to me and they said, Rick, we have a need. And when they reach out to me in the past, I know it's a serious need. And they do all the vetting. I don't have to even question what their need is. And so I said, what's going on? And the lady said, we have a little 5-year-old girl who is in Texas getting treatment for her leukemia. Okay. And her family's been fighting this cancer for her whole life. And they just got word that she's terminal and she only has a few days to live. And we want to get her home. Whew, I'm going to get chills just thinking about it. We want to get her home to die with her family, around her siblings. We don't want her in a cold hospital in Texas, right? Yeah. And so I said, okay, I can definitely raise the money for a commercial flight, probably within an hour. Give me an hour. And she joked and she said, well, unless you know any private jets with, you know, private plane owners. And she laughed. And I said, that wouldn't surprise me. So we put it out on Facebook and in 70 minutes, we had 2 pilots with private jets say, where do you need us? We'll fly out tonight.
That is insane.
Like that, is that crazy?
That is crazy.
This man, Angel, he's not even a man. He lives in Idaho. His name is Dennis Combs, and he was the first one to respond. And all he said was, where do you need me? I'll be there. And I just was like, this is our guy. So we gave him all the information. He got in touch with the family. He flew to Texas all of Spokane was watching him because we all downloaded this app on our phone. You could actually watch the plane fly to Texas and then watch it return. And hundreds of people lined up at the Phelps Field, and we welcomed her home. The police department, the fire department, there was a limousine waiting for her. And so she got this grand entrance. We got to see this little girl get off the plane, and she got to spend an entire month with her family. She just passed away a couple days ago. But
wow.
And that really sums up Spokane Quarantine. It sums up social media. We like to say light attracts light. That sums that up perfectly. When people are doing good things, other people want to be a part of it. And that's just the way it is. And so Spokane's really kind of launched into this whole other arena of just helping people. And it's not giving people things. It's helping people who truly need help to get over certain things. So that's just one example. But if you go on there, we've given away 8 cars. We've given away 300 Christmas trees at Christmas. Like, water bottles, thousands of water bottles during the summer to keep people hydrated. I mean, you name it, we've done it, and we're not done. We're just getting started.
Yeah. Oh, man. So you say you're just getting started. What are some other things that you're really excited for that are coming up pretty soon?
So actually this Sunday, October 16th, which is my mom's birthday. My mom passed away before I made my comeback. She only knew me as struggling and homeless, and she struggled with homelessness and stuff like that. So it's really important that I wanted to do this on her birthday. But No Lie Parking Lot is going to let us use their parking lot. John and Cindy Bryant, the owners of No Lie, love and support Spokane Quarantine. And we're just going to, from 12 to 4, we're going to have cars come in. The community can drive in and give us donated items. And so we want everything you can imagine that a family would need, because these aren't back to school backpacks, and these aren't backpacks built for homeless folks. These are backpacks to help the struggling families that are about a week away from being homeless. There's a whole new pocket of people that are struggling in a new way. And we want to get out there as fast as we can and say, look, here's a bunch of stuff for your house. Laundry detergent, toiletries, new socks, blankets. Here's a bunch of stuff so that you don't have to spend your money on that. You can actually pay your bills and your rent. And so we're planning on raising 10,000 items. So we have a goal of collecting 10,000 items on Sunday. And we're going to put 400 backpacks to use and fill those backpacks with these items for families. And we've got players from the Gonzaga basketball team coming out, so you can pull up, meet a Gonzaga player. You don't even have to get out of your car. Just hand off your bag and off you're going. So we plan on filling that parking lot for 4 hours on Sunday.
Jeez. Yeah, I can't even imagine what it's like, because COVID has left such an impact on people, especially on like the working class and stuff like that, and people who are like don't have exactly high paying jobs and don't have the like the reservoir of money to keep them safe.
Right.
Especially as we come out of COVID. And man, gas prices are so up and down. I know that's something that's super basic to talk about, but like, it's not cheap to just pay for gas for transportation to get to your job.
Right.
Imagine paying bills, and everything is just rising, and it feels like.
Well, we've seen an increase in requests for help. And so as Spokane Quarantine started helping people, naturally we got a lot of people saying, hey, I need help. And we're not able to help everybody, obviously, but we've tried to focus on these big events, like let's get kids food, let's get kids school clothes, let's help families pay their rent. So they're big things, but we're just seeing an uptick. I had a message the other day that said, Rick, my family and I will be sleeping in our van tomorrow for the first time in our life. We don't know where to park. Where should we park our van? And that killed me, because you can tell that was a family that's just, they've tried everything they can.
Yeah.
They've thrown everything at the wall and nothing is sticking. And now they're going to literally go find a parking lot for them and their kids to go sleep in. So when you see cars parked out there, they're not all beat up and broken down. There's cars that are decent cars, and there's homeless families living in those cars. So now that we know that, we want to do everything we can to work with agencies and the community. So many people in the community are like, I want to help, I just don't know what to do. And a lot of people don't want to give $1,000 check to a nonprofit and just hopes that the right thing gets done with it. Not that they don't do good things, but what I'm saying is people are really turned on to the fact that they can give me $10 and they can go see that $10 being used immediately. And that's super important.
It's almost a bit of instant gratification, but also just being able to see the money literally work through you. And your organization isn't as much something where it like absorbs everything and then redisperses it out. It's more like it just gives people a direction to pour their already like, They want to help people. It just gives them a direction to do that.
And there's so many fun ways to do things at Spokane Quarantine. That's the one feedback we get the most, is it's almost addictive being on that page, because you never know every day what way you can help. It could be sending letters to somebody who's depressed and trapped inside their house. You know, it could be helping people with Christmas trees. It could be helping people get food on the table. You never know. So it's not just one specific thing.
Yeah.
And the other day, our van, a couple months ago, our van that we got donated basically ran out because it was 300,000 miles and we'd had it for years. Dang. And so we asked Spokane Quarantine, hey, do you guys think you could help us purchase a new van so that we can keep continuing to do our work. And this is just to kind of show you the love that we get from that page. In 24 hours, we raised $24,000.
Whoa.
So that's $1,000 an hour for 24 straight hours. And we went out the next day and bought a brand new cargo van. And so what I did was I promised everybody, those 350 people that donated, I will splatter your names all over the van. So right outside the studios.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, you can see I'm in the big Spokane Quarantine van. There's names all over the van, and it just says these people donated this beautiful van to Spokane Quarantine. And that's the kind of thing that, and I get so much good feedback from people saying, I saw your van, I got to see my name or my mom's name's on your van. I think that's so cool.
That's really cool.
That really shows people that their money is literally out in the streets working still.
Yeah.
You know?
And I definitely think about that, like for my own, like, personal stuff. Like my parents are very philanthropic and they donate a lot of money to the church and to certain organizations. But my one big gripe is like, I don't see my money actually working. I don't actually see that happening in the community. So
Right.
having an organization that literally does that and makes that like a big point of their organization is super cool and super encouraging.
And to take it one step further, we want to do something kind of new, which is
Okay.
working together with other nonprofits, which you think that would normally happen. But the way nonprofit world is set up, you know, banks and credit unions dangle a carrot and say, we want to give this $5,000 to the most popular nonprofit right now. Tell us who it is. And so we've won several of those because we're the most popular nonprofit. But it's never felt good to me because there's these little nonprofits doing amazing work that don't get the love because they don't have the social media impact. And so
Right.
Amazon reached out to us a while back and said, we want to start giving you pallets of donated items that are returned items to Amazon. And so we have filled a warehouse and 6 storage units with items from Amazon. And now
A warehouse and 6 storage
Yeah.
units?
And-
oh my gosh.
in one trip, they gave us 14 pallets one time. We had to use a semi.
What are on these pallets? Like what kind of stuff?
Oh my gosh. Everything from turtle cleaner, like a cleaner used to clean your turtle, all the way to laptops and everything in between. So lots of soaps and dish soaps and laundry soaps, stuff that people need, right? So we said, we're going to start giving this out to other nonprofits. So we've given out to over 40 nonprofits on a regular basis.
Wow.
They pull up, take whatever they want, and they can use their money for their mission, not to buy these cleaners and stuff that they would normally spend. So we're really trying to lead by example and say, look, we are a small nonprofit, but we're doing huge things, and we want to include other nonprofits. And so I guarantee if you trust the system and you trust the way this works, your nonprofit's going to blossom more if you work together with other nonprofits. But we're so scared and we need every dollar we can get for our nonprofits to keep the doors open that we end up kind of not working together. And we're about ready to change that.
Yeah. And no, I'm not from Spokane. I'm from like, not the Seattle area, but pretty close to there.
Right.
So I haven't had a ton of experience with homeless people, except for this last summer. But coming back to every time I come to Spokane, there's just so many people that you see who are just living on the street.
Oh man, when we started giving backpacks in 2015,
Yeah.
we thought we were going to solve homelessness with these backpacks. We just thought, man, we're going to do
This
it.
is it.
Yeah, and the community was getting behind us. We were getting a lot of love. Mike Rowe came to town and paid off my Gonzaga tuition, and we got some
Yeah, I
national
was reading
exposure.
about that. That's crazy.
Yeah, and so we got this national exposure. Everybody was, but the numbers just kept increasing, and every year the numbers have gone up. So I'm like, okay, something's not working. We have all these resources, and we have people coming to Spokane. I've met a lot of people that are new to Spokane, and they're here for the resources. But I'll talk to people that have been just walking around downtown for 4 months, and they don't even realize the main resource they need is like 3 blocks away.
Yeah.
They don't even know because they're new to town. Nobody's
It's
talking
just
to them.
information is what they
And
need.
most communication they have with people is negative. People want them off the streets. They want them away from them. And so I've always said that connection piece, you can throw money at things, you can build shelters, you can even change laws. But until you connect somebody with the world that's going on around them, you're going to spin your wheels. And every year we're going to pretend like this is a brand new issue. We don't understand winters. We don't understand summers. And it's just boggles my mind. It's like, no, we need to do something. But we have to start with a new foundation. It's almost like we have this old house with a pretty roof. So we spend all the money on the roof to make it look nice, but it's crumbling and we have to start over. And so that connection piece is key to me, and it
Because
always
it's
will
going
be.
to just cave in eventually.
Yeah,
I think about that a lot. And I also just think about like, man, I think that there's so many people who are living in Spokane who see all of these this homelessness and maybe have had experiences. Like I've had personal, like violent experiences with homelessness.
Right.
And it's very terrifying and not fun.
Right.
And that just makes you want to help people more.
Right.
And that I think is why there's such a big push and why you guys have so much support. And also people just see the good that you're doing with the good intentions. Because I think a lot of times you can have a good nonprofit, but some of their intentions from some of the leaders are not so good.
Well, one of my mentors, Ryan Ulrich, once told me, he said, when you start a nonprofit, you want to start it knowing that you're trying to work yourself out of business. You don't want to start a nonprofit as a career for the next 30 years. You're trying to solve a problem, you know? So
Yeah.
I would love for homelessness to end, and I wouldn't be a nonprofit. I'd go do
Yeah.
something else, you know? But
Right.
as a man who was homeless in this town myself, struggling with, poverty, born and raised here, I mean, there was a restaurant that one time asked me 8 years ago to leave their restaurant because I was basically loitering too long. That same restaurant last year, I gave $2,500 to keep them afloat.
That's crazy.
They don't remember me. I didn't feel it was appropriate at the time to tell them who I was, but I'm the same person. So if you love what I do and you love the things I'm doing, then you can't turn your back on the man that's on the corner with the sign because he's who I was. And so
Right.
I really want to share that and just let people know that every person out there has a different story. Some of them are scary. Some people are scary. Some people have a violent past. Some people are completely lost and have no connection. And I'm not going to let anyone deter me from finding people before they lose their life and say, look, your light is right around the corner. And I feel so bad for the people that didn't find that light and ended up leaving this world because I'm proof that you can turn it around. You can go from living in your van to graduating from Gonzaga.
Yeah, and I think that is the most impactful that you can say to anybody because it's like I literally lived this life. I know that it's possible.
This isn't a TED Talk. This isn't a YouTube video. Like,
Right.
I've lived it. I'm here to tell you. And when I get to have those conversations with people, their eyes light up like, wait, so you're not telling me that this is who I am? That I'm actually I'm not my disastrous life. I'm actually a better person. I'm like, no, absolutely.
Yeah.
You know?
And I think the biggest thing for me is like even hearing the word homelessness has so much stigma around it, and
Right.
so many like when I think of a person who's homeless, I think of someone who does drugs
Right.
or like
Doesn't
is
wanna work.
violent,
Yep.
doesn't want to work, someone who is a bum, someone who
I've met published authors. I've met people who were teachers. I've met a guy who was a nurse. It really opened my eyes. And so I just encourage everybody, if you're not comfortable, which a lot of people aren't, and I totally get it, but if you're comfortable just rolling your window down next time instead of pretending like you're fidgeting with your radio and just say, hey, how's your day going to the person standing at the corner, I guarantee you'll be shocked at the answer and the reaction that you get, because we did a study with Gonzaga and we went out for months and we sat with people who were flying the signs with cardboard, and the stuff that was yelled at them and thrown at them all day long was just so discouraging to see. Very rarely would somebody say anything nice. So the fact that you say something nice to them, it's a piece of light in a dark world, and they almost snap out of it for a second and are like, wait a minute, there is humanity here. So I would just encourage people to start there and then gradually work your way up to doing other things, but we got to connect people.
Yeah, of course. And there's something else coming up pretty soon here that is pretty awesome.
Super excited. So I have a really experienced board now, and my board members are like, Rick, we could do a fundraiser every year like other nonprofits do and raise enough money to take care of all the operational expenses, warehouse rent, whatever needs to be covered for an entire year or sometimes up to 2 years if you raise enough money, or you can go out every week and continue to beg for money, which is what you do, and I was like, no, I really want to talk more about this idea. So we are putting together our first inaugural fundraiser. It's a masquerade gala, which is really fancy and going to be awesome. And it's going to be at the Shriners Event Center on November 4th. It's a Friday night. We've got some amazing things planned. We've got some surprises for everybody. We've got amazing auction items, and we're just going to try to celebrate, have fun. And this will be the first time we focus on us, because we spent all year focusing on other nonprofits and helping other groups. But this will be our night. This will be our night to raise money for us, and it'll allow us to lock this in for another year or two so that we're not going anywhere. So
that'd be pretty awesome.
We still have about 50 tickets. We've sold about 300. So we encourage anybody to get on get on our website at gbpax.org, and right on the homepage you can buy a ticket and show up and wear a mask. Not a mask, not a COVID mask, an actual masquerade
Yeah, I forget
mask.
that we have to specify that now, yeah. And one more thing. I'm pretty sure that you guys have been elected for some awards of some kind.
Well, actually, I get to host the Philanthropy Awards this year.
Different.
Yeah, I won 2 years ago. I won Outstanding Philanthropist, which blew me away. Because when I think of philanthropist, I think of people with deep pockets, and I've never had deep pockets, right? But they really wanted to kind of show people that you can do other things without money and still help. And we definitely still need the big philanthropy work that people do with money, but it's been fun hosting that every year. And
you're hosting it again this year,
next week.
Spokane Philanthropy Awards?
Spokane Philanthropy Awards through United Way. And that's going to be a great night. I think it's down at the Cracker Building. Have you ever been down there?
I have not.
It's really, really cool space. And that's next Wednesday. Yep. A week from yesterday.
8 p.m. or something like that?
Yeah. I'm not sure exactly the time, but
Okay.
we're just going to honor a lot of people, businesses, organizations, and even kids that are getting involved in philanthropy work. So it's just a really fun night for Spokane to focus on the good stuff, because we have enough bad stuff out there to keep us busy for our entire life, but we need to start highlighting that good stuff, just like you guys do. So I appreciate it.
Yeah, of course. And if anybody wants to get any more information about your organization, where can they go?
So go to Facebook and look up Giving Backpacks, 3 words, or Spokane Quarantine, or go to our website at gbpacks.org.
Excellent. Thank you so much for coming on the show today.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course. This has been Tanner Caldwell on the Spokane Talks Media. Everybody have a great rest of your day.
Safe and clean neighborhoods first. I'm Jenny Graham, your tenacious voice for the 6th District in Olympia. I've worked tirelessly to protect your family, businesses, and neighborhoods from special interest groups and criminals that put you last for public safety and tax relief. Let me put your family first. Vote Jenny Graham.
The world has changed a lot in 50 years, and Kimley Haygood has changed with it. We still provide our customers with the highest level of service, whether it's financing, construction management, property management and maintenance, leasing, or sales. Our team is here to help you make the best decisions with your real estate.